So how do you feel about like how everybody was talking about you versus now?
Man, it's
The switch up.
yeah, no, I mean it is what it is, but we got to keep doing it. I got to keep doing it. You know, I'm my biggest critic, bro. I expect greatness out of myself. I expect greatness out of, you know, our team. You know, because I know, you know what I'm saying. You've seen a glimpse of it, the work we put in. Like that's been my whole life. You know what I'm saying. My whole life's dreams is to win Super Bowls, bro.
Love-hate quarterbacks. That was Kyler Murray on, the doubters.
Yeah.
Some would say.
There were no doubters on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour set, I'll tell you that. And now here's Cards PR, Mark Dalton. Kyler Murray's game jersey and ball from Sunday's 41-10 win versus the Rams are headed to Canton to be displayed at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Murray became just the second player in NFL history with 250 passing yards, 50-plus rushing yards, and a perfect 158.3 passer rating. The other, Cincinnati's Ken Anderson in 1974. Ride or effing die, Connor Rogers. Let's hear it.
Right.
By the way, I liked him, doing the broadcast while driving the bike. We should do a show like that, the three of
I would do
us.
it. Is that like a little electric
Yeah, it was something.
bike, like an e-bike?
Good pacing.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but here's Kyler Murray just balling out. I can't watch this play too much. He's my number 2 quarterback for the week as well. Like we've talked about this Lions-Cardinals game, 52.5 over-under. It's the highest game total in week number 2. Kyler's had at least 50. He obviously had 50 yards against the Rams, but he's actually had at least 50 rushing yards in both games this season. Through 2 weeks, the Lions are actually bottom 12 pass defense, and since the start of last year, only 4 teams allow more fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks than the Detroit Lions. Give me all the Kyler this week. And for the rest of the season, he's my ride or die for a reason.
Yep. 2 point, Lions defense has really struggled. To think back, one, what Baker Mayfield was able to do, not a massive statistical game, but still able to succeed. And then also, they got a ton of pressure on Matthew Stafford in week 1, and Stafford was still able to put up pretty big statistical line. And now the Cardinals offense, I think, is better than the Bucs or Rams offense. They're the number 3 offense in the league so far, largely because of your man, Kyler Murray.
There you go.
Joe Burrow comes in as a top 5 play with the QBs this week. He's got the Commanders. Jay, this one's pretty simple. Cincinnati has the highest implied team total this week.
Yep. And Joe Burrow, I think that he is getting, his stats don't look great so far, but he's gotten penalized by having to play against the Patriots and Chiefs defenses to expect them to finish as elite defenses. And the other thing as well is that Burrow has been cruelled by drops this year. When you look at the underlying stuff, he's getting very unlucky so far. Yeah. And the main thing for me is just that against Kansas City, he physically looked fine. He just looked like Joe Burrow. Yeah. He's throwing the deep ball. He was the better quarterback in that game. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes. I think the Bengals probably deserved to win. So I think you can have great confidence that if they can make my man Daniel Jones, the leader of the future division champion New York Giants, look very solid against the Commanders, then he is going to do whatever he wants.
Daniel Jones was a top 6 fantasy quarterback against my Commanders.
That's right.
I mean, just
that's
the stat.
Finisher.
That's the stat. Look, I will say this, that in fact, dating back to last season, you talk about my quarterbacks here, right? Quarterbacks facing the Commanders. Everyone wants to give Dave Canales all this credit for resurrecting quarterbacks. How about my Commanders defense? 8 of the last 10 quarterbacks to face Washington have scored at least 18 or more fantasy points as well. Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones, obviously both top 6 against them. I think you make an argument Burrow's better than both of them.
Is it a red flag that Baker Mayfield and Geno Smith both look the best they ever had in their entire careers right now, neither working with Dave Canales?
He
gets credit for the initial resurrection.
He gets credit for the initial
rebuilding
resurrection.
someone. But you're right. They are standalone, looking good right now.
Yeah, there's no question about that, by the way. No team has a higher implied team total, by the way, in week 3 than the Cincinnati Bengals as well. So Burrow is my QB5.
Brock Purdy coming in as a top 10 play here, Matthew. The Rams are allowing a league-high 9.9 yards per pass attempt.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this Rams defense a lot over the show as well. You can sort of sense a theme with all these guys. It all does kind of work in together. I mean, the Rams we just talked about Kyler too, right? I mean, Kyler Murray had a perfect passer rating against these same Rams defense. They're allowing passing touchdowns. It's going to the Hall of Fame, for the love of God.
Aggressive.
I mean,
a bit much.
Yeah, the Rams are allowing passing touchdowns at the 3rd highest rate in the NFL so far this season. So yeah, Brock Purdy, I think,
he'll be okay.
Top 10 quarterback this week.
Yep, another bet you'll hate. Connor doesn't like it either. Placed a wager on Brock Purdy MVP, 22-1, running it back, round 2. Favorite for the 1 seed. Purdy's, I think, the most likely guy to have the best statistical case and profile like he did last season. Kind of scoffing because
nobody wants to give him the credit.
No.
Well, he's got no
I don't-
CMC or
but
Debo now.
But right, I don't hate that. I don't hate that bet because
No,
I
I
mean,
don't
like
hate
legitimately
it. It's not
last
the
year,
Giants 80-1.
legitimately last year, Brock Purdy, like before the Christmas game against the Ravens, Brock Purdy
He
was
had it.
among the
Yeah.
He
favorites.
was minus 250.
Yeah, he
Exactly.
had it. You're right.
Right to be so.
So why is he 22-1 now?
I-
It's not like Mahomes is. Mahomes is
no,
plus
no.
260. Mahomes doesn't
Name
look good.
recognition.
He's got 3 picks already.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
callback.
We did a thing yesterday. I don't know, you probably didn't watch the show. I'm sure you have it, on your DVR that you'll watch at
Yeah,
home.
it's on my DVR.
But
It's on a streaming service. You don't have a DVR of the show. You can go on YouTube if you want.
It's on a physical DVD
It's
that I
on-
downloaded.
we print them out and we send them out to
VHS.
fans. But anyway, just that he recorded it.
There you go.
Anyway, I was just trying to make the joke, which is just that we talked about.
Others receiving votes. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. If you need someone this week. Derek Carr, top 10 play. QB 10, Kirk Cousins, QB 15. Jay, I feel like you've been in on the Saints before it was the hot thing to do.
Yeah.
Let's give you credit.
No, I'm driving the Saints bandwagon, driving it right to the moon.
What's wrong with this show today?
I don't know. Derek Carr's been the best quarterback in football so far. He's been the best. It's 2 weeks, but he did against one of those weeks against the Panthers, which whatever, that's not great. But the Cowboys have a real defense, and he completely lit them up. Also, this Eagles defense idea of Vic Fangio is going to come in and fix it looks just as bad as it did last year. Getting lit up. I don't know what they were doing on that last drive against Kirk Cousins. None of those parts, yes, he did whatever he wanted. So I believe in the Saints. I think they're real. I think this is a proper team. I think this team can win the NFC. I think they are a legitimate team, and I think they're going to light up this very suspect Eagles pass defense.
I completely agree. I mean, and our friends at DraftKings agree, obviously, by the fact that they're actually favorites in this game. Now, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans. The Saints having a home game in the Super Bowl is very much in play this year, assuming they stay healthy. And to your point about the Eagles' defense, one of the things we've talked about is the fact that Derek Carr has always been able to throw a very good deep ball, and that they use play action effectively. Clint Kubiak is actually finally using Rashid Shaheed in the way that he should. Well, through 2 weeks, the Eagles have allowed the second highest passer rating on deep passes. You can throw deep on Philadelphia through 2 games, so I expect them to attempt that. Derek Carr, I have him as QB 10 as well. And you mentioned Kirk Cousins against Kansas City. Weirdly, the Chiefs through 2 weeks have allowed the second most passing yards in the league. Teams facing the Chiefs this year are averaging over 38 pass attempts a game. I thought Cousins looked better, not great, but he looked better against the Eagles. And I think game script here against the Chiefs on Sunday night, he's going to have to throw.
2 quarterbacks on the hate list, both outside the top 20 in Justin Herbert, who's banged up right now and not throwing a ton, and then Trevor Lawrence against the Bills defense that's been pretty stingy out of the gate, Matthew.
And he's looked bad. Through 2 weeks, by the way, the Bills allowing the 5th fewest yards per completion, the 7th lowest passer rating, and they faced Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa. And now they get Trevor Lawrence, who's struggled. Week 13 of last year. That was the last time that Trevor Lawrence had 18 or more fantasy points in a game. He's no longer, unfortunately, an elite fantasy quarterback. And he hasn't been for a while. And through 2 games this year, he's got a 51% completion rate. Game is at Buffalo. The entire Jags offense just doesn't look right. And I just can't imagine trusting him. He's outside my top 20 for the week. You see how they last week Jacksonville changed their stadium name to be Trevor. What it was? It's like Evermore Bank. What was it? No, it was like
I can't sell this
Everbank. I was like Trevor Bank, and they called it Trevor Bank Stadium.
Yeah.
Trevor Bank Stadium. They should call it Never Bank Stadium.
Okay.
There you go.
Well,
God bless.
It's a drop off from
There
the
you
earlier
go.
strong humor in the show.
There you go. 2 shows on Saturday. Tip your waitresses. Buy the curly fries.
Yep.
God bless. God bless America.
Yeah.
Also, Justin Herbert banged up playing Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Thank you. No thanks.
Bad recipe.
Yeah, Pittsburgh might have the best defense in football.
Yeah. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.